Welcome back to Southeast Texas Weekly. I'm Kevin Steele. We appreciate you being back here to talk politics once again. We will often have an opportunity to talk with big names on this program. Never bigger than Congressman Brian Babin.
I would say that, Kevin, but I'm glad to be here.
It is always great to see you, sir. We appreciate it very much. Tell me, we can start in many different places. You have been a champion of this matter of homeland security and homeland safety, often talking about ways in which Americans can be kept safe in the forefront of radical Islam, and sometimes in ways that make make Democrats uncomfortable. You stand strong in this matter of making sure that Americans are safe, but how do we go about doing that? What are the most effective policies that you've seen so far, and what have you put forth to make sure Americans are safe?
Well, quite frankly, there haven't been any effective policy so far. I mean, this program,
by the White House,
by the White House, this resettlement program is just going forth. We've been unable to stop it, and I introduced a bill back in July, Kevin, called the Resettlement Accountability and National Security Act. In fact, for weeks and even months, I was the only one talking about this. I was a voice in the wilderness in this whole country.
I can vouch for that, yes.
And all of a sudden, we wind up with the attack in Paris. We see the hordes of refugees coming out of the Middle East. We see our Department of Homeland Security Secretary, the FBI Director saying we can't possibly and properly vet and screen these people. And so this is what my bill is all about. H.R. 3314 will suspend this program until we can properly vet them, and then the Congress, not the President, the Congress can have an up or down vote and stop this program or start it again if it's being done properly.
Has Congress been shut out of the process, ironically, with a great many of the policies from President Obama, in your view?
No question about it. I mean, not just this issue. I mean, he has circumvented the Congress so many times with his executive orders, his pen and his cell phone. And I hate to tell you, but folks, we're going to see a lot more of that in the next 12 months.
So you think that as a lame duck, essentially, is what we think of a president who's in the final year of his second term. As a lame duck president, this is a president that's willing to reach out with his executive orders and change a lot of things from what you're hearing?
There's no question about it. And this is national security is the #1 issue. But restoring constitutional authority is a huge issue, and one that we as the Republican Conference in Congress, the U.S. House of Representatives, is one of the big issues on our plate. And that is restoring the First and especially the Second Amendment, which we've seen the President try to circumvent the Congress and the law on numerous times. And then it goes without saying, on national security, Americans do not feel safe. We have a president that refuses to identify and recognize who the enemy is. Radical Islam has declared war on the United States people, the American people. They want to harm us, and the president is our chief executive. And he and all of us elected officials have sworn an oath to uphold this Constitution, and that is to maintain the health, security, the national security and safety of the American people. And that's what he should be doing, and that's what we are going to be trying to do for this entire year.
Did the president make a mistake with the program in which he got 5 of our Americans free from Iran and essentially traded, whatever you want to call it at the national level,
that's right.
Essentially traded for at least 7 Iranians. There was a Houston arrest as well.
That's exactly right. And that Houston arrest just points the finger of proof and evidence that the refugee program is a very dangerous program. This was an Iraqi refugee who was planning on blowing up several shopping centers in Houston, including the Galleria. And I think it goes without saying that the American people, this is what's driving gun sales.
That, I mean, there was a pardon of 7 Iranian Americans. That person, not among them, but the 7 Iranian Americans have been pardoned now.
Well, and I think you will see that the truth of the matter is that those are 7 criminals. those Americans held in Iran were being held illegally. They were detainees. They were arrested on very, very specious charges. And then when we work a deal, like this Iranian nuclear deal that this president has forced down the throats of the American people, just like he did Obamacare and several other issues, is an extremely, extremely dangerous program for the future, and it really could determine the health and safety of millions of American citizens and citizens around the world, as a matter of fact.
How does Congress turn it around in this last year, or at least block the policies that you feel are failed policies that the president wants to do with executive overreach or whatever it could be? And how does Congressman Babin feel about U.S. Senator Ted Cruz and who will be our next president? Those questions and more right after this break.